Hi everyone. Just want to talk to you a little bit about environments for young children. And you think, okay, so what's this got to do with child guidance? Well, actually, it has a ton of stuff to do with child guidance. Um, I like to refer to the environment as kind of like a play. Imagine you go to a play. You see the actors and the people on stage, but you also know behind the stage that there are people that are keeping the play going on. Well, this is kind of like the environment in the early childhood classroom. We see things directly and we see things indirectly. Things are going on directly and things are going on indirectly. I tend to refer to the teacher as that person that's the production team. The stage managers, the lighting people, the directors, etc. Because what we do is we set up the environment for children. And that's what we refer to as indirectly. And one thing that's real important that I want you to remember is that the environment drives children's reactions. And sometimes as teachers, what we do is we set up the environment where it doesn't produce those positive behaviors that we want from children. And that's our responsibility to make sure we have appropriate environments for young children. So I want to take you through a couple of things. I'm going to put this in the resource section also. But I wanted to go over a couple of things with you. So I'm going to look at my screen while I'm talking to you. And you'll see here that we have direct and indirect guidance. And, what is direct guidance? Well, first of all, we know guidance is, we are teaching children the behavior that we want them to have. I told you at the beginning of this semester that child guidance is not a course focusing on what do we do with those bad children. Well, child guidance is us guiding children, letting them know what we expect from them, not what we don't expect from them. That's real important. So when we talk about direct guidance, you'll see here on the screen, or indirect guidance, those are things that we set up behind the scenes, like the physical surroundings, like room arrangement, etc. We want to make sure that the room is arranged in areas where children know what to do in each area. We want to make sure that they have adequate number of spaces for the child. We want the children to know, okay, when I get done playing this center, I can go to this center. And we have what I call a check-in, check-out system, where you might have a sign that tells the children only 4 children are allowed in the art center each day or each time. Labeling the materials so children know exactly where to put the materials back. So these are things that we do behind the scenes as teachers to get the environment ready. Also, the schedule. We want to make sure we have a consistent schedule because therefore children will know what is expected of them and what they can anticipate. Children like security. They like knowing, okay, after we have snack time in the morning, we go outside. Or after we have snack time, we have large group time. They want to know what's expected. They like consistency. So that's why it's important for us to have schedules in early childhood classrooms. Also, expectations. I've already said this, we let children know what we expect of them. And one thing that's so important to remember in child guidance is, again, as I said, tell children what you expect of them, not what you don't expect of them. I always state things positive. Like, for example, we hear adults all the time tell children, don't run, don't run, don't run. Which, what we should be saying is use your walking feet inside. Use your inside voice instead of saying, quit yelling. Because if you notice, if we don't put things in the positive way, it's almost like we're fussing at the children all day long. So I know that's really hard to do because our brains are wired to say don't, no, no, no. But you really have to focus on telling children what you want them to do. That's so important. That's one of the main foundations of child guidance, in my opinion. Um, so we have those classroom rules. I like to call them classroom guidelines rather than rules. But we tell children what we expect of them. Walking in the classroom, using inside voice, etc. Okay, another thing that's important as far as that indirect guidance is making sure we catch the child being good. We as adults always point out when a child's doing something that we don't want them to do. But what we have to focus on is, catch the child being good. When we see them helping a friend, point it out. Oh, I like the way you're helping your friend. Oh, thank you for throwing your trash away. I always, point something out to them that they're doing good. Okay, so those are some of the things, as far as indirect guidance. Another thing, and we'll talk about this probably in the next couple of weeks, is the difference between praise and encouragement. We often hear teachers and adults say to children, good job, good job, good job. Well, when a child hears good job, they're saying to themselves, oh, I'm done with it. But if we use encouragement instead, that's telling the child indirectly, we want you to keep doing that. So, for example, if that child throws away the trash, instead of saying good job, say, I like the way you threw away that trash, because in the child's mind, they're going to hear, oh, she liked that. I want to do it. I need to do it again. We're encouraging that behavior again. So, another part of child guidance is direct. And that's when we use guidance techniques to immediately respond to the child. For example, giving them choices. Sometimes, like for example, an adult will say, do you want something to drink? The child says, yes. Okay. The child will say, well, I want Coke. Well, that was never a choice to begin with. So we have to make sure we give children a choice. Would you like milk or juice to drink? Simple things like that. Also model the behavior you want children to do. If you don't want them yelling in the classroom, then you shouldn't be yelling in the classroom. You go over to the child and you tell them what they need to hear. Also, redirect. If a child's getting a little anxious in a certain learning center or activity center, whatever you want to call them, redirect them, send them over to another center. And then also, using logical consequences. If the child is, not obeying the rules in a certain area, after you've reminded them once or twice, then, they can no longer go in that area for the remainder of the time or the remainder of the day. So, a couple of things else that goes along with that direct guidance is timeout. Timeout is not used the right way in the classroom. Timeout should be time away. Often you'll go in and you'll see a center, you'll see an area in the classroom and it's labeled timeout, timeout. Well, you don't have to have a devoted space in the classroom for timeout. You want to make sure the child is using time away. They can get anywhere. One reason I hesitate to have a space for timeout is usually for confidentiality. Because if a parent walks in and they see a certain child in the timeout area, if something happens to their child one day, they're going to automatically blame it on that child they saw in timeout. So any place in the classroom can be time away. Also, something else to avoid with timeout is, Mark is 4 years old, so he's going to sit in time away for 4 minutes because he's 4 years old. I really don't know where that rule of thumb came from, because it doesn't matter how many minutes. The important thing about time away is you put the responsibility back on the child. For example, if I'm going to send Mark away for time away, I'm going to say, Mark, okay, you need to sit over here. Let's take time away. And I want you to think about things. And when you're ready to talk, you come and find me and we'll talk. That's the appropriate method. When I tell Mark to go sit in the corner for 4 minutes because he's 4 years old, and after 4 minutes you can get up, what has he learned from it? I don't know because I didn't discuss it with him. So it's important to use the term time away. Okay, so, again, I wanted just to point out these things to you for this chapter, developmentally appropriate environments, because a lot of times we think of environments, we think of the physical, but it's also, the emotional environment too. It's the human environment. I hope you've learned some things, and I look forward to hearing how you incorporate this in your work with your children. Thanks.